But the Arsenal, okay, so are they overachieving? So they are finished. They're in fourth place. I think they're likely to finish in fourth place as well. So there is the question, Darren Ambrose: are Arsenal overachieving?
I don't think they are. No, I think the problem is the teams around them are underachieving. I think that's the question. That they spent £150 million in the summer. People questioned the signings. I get that. You spend 30 million pound on a goalkeeper. I think Ben White was 50 odd million. Odegaard 30 million. Tomiyasu 17 million. Lokonga even 16 million. 150 million there or thereabouts. They got rid of some players that we had a call yesterday on Sunday saying they got rid of the deadwood in Aubameyang. I think that was a bit harsh. But Willock, they got rid of to Newcastle. Good fee for him. Maitland-Niles has obviously gone. Aubameyang, Chambers, Kolasinac. So they've got rid of some players as well. Before that, £72 million on Pepe. Doesn't even play. Let's be honest, he don't play. You've got Thomas Partey, 45 million. Gabriel, 23 million. They've got a good squad. Not only that, Saka, Smith-Rowe, Martinelli. I think in combined goals and assists in players under 21, they're first, second and fourth. They are outstanding players. A few weeks ago, it was, they've got games in hand. Well, now they've got games in hand and points on the ball. They're the current informed side. They was out of the third round of the FA Cup. They weren't in Europe. I think if you look at the first 3 games of the season when they lost, they were bottom of the league. No one was going to say they'd finish top 4. I'm sure your predictions, my predictions, didn't have them in the top 4.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yep. But if I'm looking now, currently, where they're sat in the position, if they don't finish in the top 4, I think it's a failure. I think they've underachieved.
I make you right, because I think the key there is the others around them and what they've done, or rather haven't done. So Manchester United, as I said before, they've had a manager who wasn't working. Then they have the caretaker. Then they have the interim. It's a complete shambles at that football club. So Arsenal are benefiting from that. Spurs have had 4 managers in a year. Arsenal are benefiting from that because they're a mess. West Ham didn't invest in January. Here's the thing. Arsenal wouldn't be anywhere near 4th place if West Ham had bought 2 players in January. They didn't. You ask all your own questions about recruitment, etc. What you can't take away from Arsenal is, yes, all of that happened, that's true, but Arsenal have fully taken advantage of it, where normally we're talking about Arsenal messing up. I don't think we're going to be talking about Arsenal messing up. But what kind of frustrates me a bit with Arsenal fans is it's almost like they're back. But if they finish 4th, what does that mean? They've had a season, like you said, with no Europe. They got out of the FA Cup as quick as possible. They had a fairly straightforward run in the League Cup and went quite far and then got found out. So they're out of that. They've not had any distractions whatsoever. You get them into the Champions League and all of a sudden there's pressure to finish in the top 2 in their group. And let's see if they manage to achieve that. Also to sustain a top 4 challenge and more, because they should be getting back to challenging for titles. Never mind finishing top 4 and doing a Wenger and winning the top 4 trophy. That's where they should be heading. Now, if you're looking at Arsenal and thinking, okay, they're on a trajectory to go and do that, I'd love to hear from you, because I don't see that at all. What I see is Arsenal fans doing what they always do, overreacting. Here's the thing, lads, it's Watford. They've just, yes, played well, but they've just scraped past Watford 3-2. One of my colleagues here tweeted at 3-1, Ben White, best English centre-back right now. He then does what he does for the Watford second goal. So they get over the top excited. What they need to do is just rein it in a little bit, let it all play out, because if they get overexcited, then they're going to get overcritical when it starts to go a little bit wobbly. When they play Chelsea, for example, if they get battered and Granit Xhaka gets sent off like he's going to, then it'll all go wrong and they'll all be angry. So they need to calm right down. I saw a headline, the reinvention of Granit Xhaka. It's just ridiculous. He hasn't reinvented himself. He just hasn't been sent off for a little while. I saw another one. Odegaard for 34 million is literally the sale of the century. I'm sorry, that's not true. Real Madrid didn't want him. Martinez to Villa's the sale of the century, if you want one. And it's just ridiculous that they're putting all this pressure on their own players. Well, they just let it play out. The fans are part of the problem at Arsenal, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what you can say, and what I will say, is if Mikel Arteta manages to get Arsenal to the top 4, it's a remarkable job considering the start to the season. Like I said, everyone's predictions. If they finish top 6, it's progression. Of course it's progression. They finished 8th, I think, the last 2 seasons in a row. So top 6 is progression. Speaking to Darren Bent yesterday, he says he'd be happy with top 6. Is that how far it's fallen? The way it is at the moment, the current position, they've got 3 games in hand on Manchester United, 3 games in hand on West Ham, level on games with Spurs, 6 points ahead. Wolves have had a massive blip, so that they're out of the running for me. So it's out of them 4. They have to make top 4. They've got a few hard games, but they are the current informed side, full of confidence. Like I said, Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Martinelli playing tremendously well. I think it's not underachieving if they don't make top 4, but I think it's failure at this position they're in right now.
I agree with that. They've also got a manager who's basically been backed, and it's cost them a lot of money, not just the millions they've spent on players, the millions to get rid of big-time players as well. That manager has been backed like no other manager who's in that top 4 race. So you can talk about the money spent at Manchester United, but there's no real consistency or strategy there. There is at Arsenal, and Arteta deserves a bit of credit for that, but he's had the backing. So if they don't finish top 4, I think that is a massive failure as well. Jamie O'Hara was hurting him, by the way. He was alongside Laura Woods and Ali McCoist on breakfast this morning. Now, when they were discussing Arsenal moving into the Champions League places, Jamie and Laura, who's an Arsenal fan, had a bit of a disagreement.
He's knocking on the door now, and it's becoming a realistic possibility that they could finish top 4.
Oh, absolutely. I think they will.
That, for me, Jamie, would be a massive overachievement. Massive.
Is it though?
Yes, I do think it
They
is.
spent 150 million.
No,
it's Arsenal Football Club. Come on, they should be.
Hang on a minute, Jamie O'Hara. Can I just say, not so long ago, you were saying Spurs are back. Watch out, Arsenal. Watch out, Manchester United. Watch out, Leicester.
Of course, but we should be back. But we're miles off.
Spurs are back. So at that time, you thought Arsenal were miles off top 4, didn't you?
Yeah, at that moment. But if in the grand scheme of things, Arsenal are a better football club than Tottenham. They have been historically for the last.
You've just changed your
10
tune
years.
very quickly.
No, but I've always said this. Arsenal had a massive fall from grace, haven't they? They had a massive fall from grace. So to say now, it's an overachievement to get in the Champions League, it's not.
Are
they
you
should
serious?
They should be challenging for Champions League.
They should be. I agree. I mean, he's had plenty of time in the job. He has been backed every single step of the way. I can remember tweeting a while back that had he been Chelsea manager, Roman Abramovich would have sacked him about 5 times by now. Mikel Arteta. They've had some astonishingly bad performances along the way, but he's more or less got away with it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of Arsenal support, and I said this to Bentley yesterday, that it's stopping you from having heartbreak at the end of the season if you don't make top 4. But I think you look, if they win their game in hand, they go 2 points off Chelsea, still to play Chelsea as well. Should be aiming for top 3. Should be saying we are going for top 3. We're an informed side. We are Arsenal Football Club. I get what Laura's saying in terms of, but that's historic. And if you could go back to all teams, Nottingham Forest, for instance, they should be in the top 4. No, the way they are playing, where they're currently sat, the points they've got, the games in hand, the players they've got, they need to be in the top 4 for me. And how poor the other 3 have been as well, by the way.
I think that's key. And Aaron has just tweeted as an Arsenal fan, and he talks about, this is how he's phrased it, Arsenal are up against 2 of the greatest sides in Premier League history. Now, he's including Man United in that. Now, how far back in time are you going? When were Man United great in terms of the Premier League? I mean, it's dressing it up into something it really isn't. He's talking about Chelsea being world champions. Chelsea have been fantastic, but they've had some incredible injury problems, the kind of injury problems Arsenal haven't had to deal with this season that have really affected key players in their team, and they're still above you. You know, the owner's gone, they're still above you. And he says it will be a great season if Arsenal finish 4th. And here we are again. Finishing 4th is great. This is Arsenal Football Club. It should be a lot better than that, shouldn't it? Breakfast back tomorrow morning and every weekday morning from 6 a.m. Laura and Ali are back on tomorrow from 6. Darren Bents will be the deluded gooner. Will be alongside them. They'll be joined by cricket legend David Lloyd, and they'll play James Bond superfan Darren Bent's favourite feature, DB5. That is unmissable. Tomorrow morning from 6 on talkSPORT Breakfast.